Hockey Inside Out, presented to you by The Gazette.
Welcome to our holiday edition of the Hockey Inside Out Show. I'm Montreal Gazette sports editor Stu Cowan, joined today by a familiar voice and face to Montreal sports fans, Ted Bird, along with Jack Todd and Mike Boone. Under the Christmas tree this year, Ted, for Jeff Molson, the man who has everything, including a $1 billion hockey team, what would you have for him there?
I'd like to give Jeff Molson Gary Bettman's job. I don't know if he's entirely qualified. I don't know if you have to be a lawyer to do that, but Jeff Molson's done such a terrific job with the Canadiens. I'd like to see what he could do with the National Hockey League. Conversely, I'd like Jeff Molson to give us the gift of lower concession prices at the Bell Centre.
Maybe lower tickets, too.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You must believe in Santa Claus.
Now, Marc Bergevin has built this team. Hasn't seemed to make too many bad moves along the way. Jack, what would you put under his Christmas tree?
10 more years in the job. I really like what Bergevin has done, and the fact that he's done it with little tweaks without any huge blockbuster deals. Everyone seems to be a step in the right direction. You know, fans look for things to bitch about, like Desharnais' contract and things like that, but he's been a great GM for this town.
Well, nobody's perfect, right?
I'd give Bergevin a holiday shopping trip to Harry Rosen. some of those clothes, they're straining my HD TV, man.
Or they got to bring back Dorian suits.
I was going to say, how about a Dorian suit endorsement deal?
That would be absolutely perfect. Suits now. Yeah, Michel Therrien, maybe buy him a new mustard jacket or something like that. But I don't know, what would you have for the coach?
I guess he's the Dorian suit endorsement deal guy. I like the way Marc Bergevin dresses. I'd give him a Brooks Brothers contract, I think.
All right. For Michel Therrien?
Michel has gone from the mustard on the jacket to Brooks Brothers himself. The one biggest change I've noticed in Michel over the last dozen years is his suits have improved
No kidding.
From when he first came to the league. I would give him a Teflon suit because he's still getting ripped. I mean, for a coach that's had a team at or near the top of the league for his 3 seasons of his reincarnated self here, he's done a great job. And, you know, you go on Twitter or anywhere and he's target number 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with Jack. I'd give Michel Therrien an easier ride, particularly on the English side of the street. I think he comes in for a lot of unfair criticism.
Yeah, he really
and you know, Twitter criticizes the Dalai Lama.
Well, as well they should. Do you know he doesn't follow anyone? He's got millions of followers and doesn't follow anyone. The
Dalai Lama or Michel Therrien?
No, Dalai Lama.
Now, PK Subban, we talked about the man who has everything. What would you put under his Christmas tree?
You know, I thought long and hard about this, and what can you give this guy? He has it all. A year ago, I would have maybe given him a little bit of humble pie, but I find that he's really reined himself in, personality-wise, it seems. He's less visible than he was in previous seasons. Off the ice, I mean, or in terms of, or on the ice in terms of rattling other players' cages. I give him whatever he's been taking so far this year, give him more, because it's working.
I'd give him a piggy bank for his pennies, dimes, and nickels. I figured out this morning that so far this season, not last spring, he's earned $2.9 million in 34 games. And that doesn't count signing bonus, appearance fees, endorsements. Yeah, he's not hurting.
Do I detect a subtle note of jealousy?
Oh, no.
The shopping season draws
yeah, but he can give me 15% anytime he wants for saying good things about him.
I'd give PK the humility and the Zen acceptance he's going to need when they make Max Pacioretty the captain.
Maybe a little privacy for PK too. I mean, I imagine life as PK Subban has got to be.
It's not going to happen, but I think he eats it up too. I think at this point in his life, at least in his career, he enjoys the notoriety. So I don't think that's problematic for him.
Max Pacioretty.
I give him a stick to remind him to stick up for his teammates. This is the one thing in his game that's still missing. I mean, he's leading the team in plus minus. I've said before, I think he's the most improved player on the team, which is something to say about a guy who scored 39 goals. But the one thing he still doesn't do, if Gallagher gets knocked down or something, Patch isn't there for him. If the reverse happens, as it did when Stoner threw Pacioretty into the boards, here's 5'0" Brendan Gallagher all over Stoner in a way that I just don't see Max do. That's the one thing I would like to see him do, especially if he's the future captain of this team, which I think is quite possible.
Mike?
I'd give him the captaincy. I think on and off the ice and in the room, he's displaying the qualities of a Montreal Canadiens captain. And I find it a tad surprising honestly, because I think he's on the biggest bargain contract in the league, and he could be bitter about that, but all the evidence is to the contrary.
The other thing
He's a good team guy.
He's second on the team in assists. One with 15, one behind Darren, so it's sort of a new version of Max also.
PK's almost made as much money this year as Max will make in the entire season. I hope he doesn't realize that.
What are you, an accountant? You're on and on about this stuff.
I'd give Pacioretty a Skype session with Gordie Howe so they can trade secrets on indestructibility.
Ah. Yeah. Now, Thomas Plekanec, there's a guy that might be a tougher person to decide what to put under the tree for, Jack.
4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtlenecks.
Good one, Ted.
Beautiful. Now, Andrei Markov, as we go down the list, he's just, he's averaging 24-35 of ice times, ranking 17th in the NHL. I was going to say continued health, but he's healthy now.
There were so many rips when he was signed to another deal. Everybody's saying he doesn't have that much left in him. He has plenty left in him. And this little rap he got for being injury prone, there was one little phase of his career. Other than that, he's always been durable. It started with that skate to the Achilles in Toronto, and was followed up with a couple of knee injuries from him trying to come back too soon. But he's always been a durable guy. He's a wonderful skater, smart player. Exactly the guy you need to do what he's doing.
I'd give him a DVD box set of A Christmas Carol and How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Just so maybe we can get a smile out of him.
I was going to say, I'd give him a smile. That's a forlorn-looking man.
We'll take a break, and we'll be back after a short break with more of the Hockey Inside Out show. Welcome back to the Hockey Inside Out show as we continue with our Christmas gift ideas for the Canadiens. Carey Price, Mike, what's under his tree?
I'll go short term. I'd like to see him get a win over Yarrow Halak and the Islanders tonight, just to put an exclamation point on the statement that he's the best goalie in the National Hockey League. Jack?
I'd give him a rocking chair because sometimes he's sitting back there and he looks so relaxed. You want to give him a chair so he can sit down and take it easy. He makes Ken Dryden look nervous. I'm really surprised at the way he's matured in the goal. He's got to be the coolest goaltender in the league, and I agree with Mike. If he's not the best, he's certainly in the top 5.
Yeah, Ted?
It's jumping the gun, but I'd give him the Vezina. It'd look good under the Christmas tree. I know that Marc-Andre Fleury's having a fantastic year, but his history says he can come undone at any time. Halak's playing well, but Price is, as Mike already alluded to, he's the best goalie in the league. Let's be done with it and just give him the Vezina as a nice Christmas gift.
I'd suggest a protective bubble, because if he gets hurt, this team is going to be in trouble. Alex Galchenyuk, Jack.
Oh man. Another chuckle like the one he had after he scored the 3 goals and they left him to celebrate
Proving Russian guys can smile, even though he's American, really.
He's Russian in his heart, you know. Yeah, he's a great kid. I'm so happy with this move to center. That would be my Christmas gift. Keep him where he is, even despite the nights when there are going to be some rough nights. But it's so much fun to watch him at center ice.
I'd give him a nice 6-year contract like his friend Gallagher for more money, naturally. But forget this bridge contract stuff. I mean, this kid is a stud. They have to keep him, and they're going to have to pay him.
Is he going to be a bigger star than PK Subban moving forward?
Different.
Yeah, different, I think. But he is going to be, I think he is going to be a superstar. But all he wants for Christmas is his 2 front teeth.
Brendan Gallagher, Jack, as we go down the list.
I'd like to give Gallagher about 4 inches, because if he was about 4 inches taller, that sounded wrong.
He was about.
You've only drawn attention to
4
it now.
inches taller. He would be a superstar in the National Hockey League. I wish you could transplant attitude from Gallagher. The Canadiens have a great bunch as it is, but he stands out even in this crew.
Mm-hmm. Mike?
Wow, I don't know, just, overachiever of the year or something, some plaque to recognize what the kid brings to the team. Because as Jack said, he leads by example. He's just an amazing player. What was he, a fifth-round draft?
Fifth-round draft pick. If you want to
extraordinary.
if you want to give yourself a Christmas tree, go on YouTube and punch in Brendan Gallagher and novice, and you'll see him in a 2002 novice hockey tournament. It's the same style he plays today, crashing into the goalie, knocking people over. It's really something.
At
to
that
see.
point, he must have been 4 inches.
That's right. Brandon Prust, Ted, as we go on.
Brandon Prust, I would just like to give him health for a full season. Have we seen that from him yet with the Canadiens? I don't know. He seems to crash into the boards and dislocate one shoulder or the other at some point every year. So far, so good this year. I'd like to see that continue. Continued health for Brandon Prust.
Jack?
Not having to fight. It's too bad that their various attempts to bring in a pure fighter here have failed, because he has to take this task on all the time. It's part of the reason his shoulders hurt, everything else hurts, and in a way you're wasting a really useful player when he's in the box.
Just someone else to fight once in a while. It could be Dale Weiss or no, it could be Dale Weiss.
In a non-salary cap world, I'd say a Christmas gift for him would be Evander Kane.
Yeah.
Somebody who could play on a line and drop the gloves also. Lars Eller.
Lars Eller, more time on the power play, and the same wingers for more than 3 games in a row.
That would work, Jack. Anything to add to that?
A different haircut. I know all the ladies think it's cool, but it looks very weird to me. But no, Eller to me is a wonderful player. I would really like to see exactly that. Let's see what he can do on the power play. You can't figure it out. At one point, he had 5 minutes, and Desharnais had 65. That disparity should not be there.
Yeah. Mike, anything on?
Consistent line mates and continued progression toward being the team's next Thomas Plekanec, which I think is what they have in mind for him.
That's it. Now, Dale Weiss, I'll have one. I'll say hair plugs to keep that mullet going as someone who knows what it's like to lose it a little on top. Ted?
I'd like to see him get government certification of a name change to Dutch Gretzky, which is my favorite Canadian's nickname that I've heard since Jack, or one of Jack's readers, nicknamed Murray Baron von Pylon. Do you remember that? Was that you, or was that a reader?
No, it was actually a reader who suggested that, but great nickname.
Yeah,
and
just
it
terrific.
fit.
Yeah.
Anything to add to that one, Jack, for Dale?
So I think we covered Dale.
Yeah, I'm stumped on Dale Weiss.
Yuri Sikak.
Wow. Maybe TV spots in which he very slowly and very carefully tells us all how to pronounce his name.
That's right.
There are currently about 100 variations of it.
I was going to say give him a CH, not the emblem, but the actual letters to put in his first name so that it looks like it's pronounced. Yurchi.
Yurchi, that's it. Manny Malhotra, I would say a goal for starters.
Yeah, I'd love to see the guy just get a few points, maybe so some of the Twitter crowd would get off his back because they don't understand how valuable he is doing what he's doing. I think it's somewhere within the last week he missed an open net once. And it was just so painful to see, because if a guy on this team deserves a goal, it's Manny.
Anything to add?
Well, I'd just give him I'd give him the plugs that Weiss doesn't need. Maybe give Tom Gilbert a haircut.
That's it.
And take his hair and pass it on to Weiss and Malhotra.
I could cover a few guys, and Markov also. That wouldn't be too bad.
I feel like I'm on fashion television. Are we going to talk a little bit about hockey?
All right, Mike Weaver, Mike.
Wow, Mike Weaver. I can't think of anything.
Mascara
really.
to cover up all the bruises on his body from the shots that he blocks.
I would say another contract somewhere. I don't know if the Canadiens will bring him back, but I like this guy. I think he's an effective defenseman. I think he kills penalties really well. Maybe a Christmas gift for him would be another contract, whether it's with the Habs or with somebody else.
I would say actually maybe a little less ice time so they can bring along more of the kids and bring the average age of the D down below 40.
Tom Gilbert.
Tom Gilbert, well, I've already given him a haircut.
Yeah.
So that's my gift to him.
How about a shampoo ad maybe? He's got some pretty nice locks going on there.
Maybe a few big hits out there to change his rep from a guy who's just a bit delicate around the edges in his play.
Okay, we'll wrap up with Nathan Beaulieu. I would say maybe a via rail pass to go from Hamilton.
Yeah, I was thinking about that, or like a compass so he'll know where he is at all times.
And happy Hanukkah.
On that note, we'll wish you all a happy holidays. We won't have an HIO show next week, but we will be back the week after that. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, everybody.